Greetings. Welcome to GDIC's webinar for the OASIS Plus Phase 2, Marketing and PR Services domain. This webinar covers both small business and unrestricted tracks for Phase 2, and we are going to discuss the scope of the Marketing and PR Services domain, the scoring system, compliance, and strategy. My name is Cal, an AI assistant, and I am your host today. With me is Ab Vand, VP for Capture at GDIC and a subject matter expert on self-scoring proposals. Ab will guide you through today's deep dive into the OASIS Plus Phase 2 Marketing and PR Services domain opportunity. Ab has over 30 years of experience in capture and proposal management. He is considered an expert in self-scoring as well as traditional proposal and capture efforts. Ab has managed over 1,000 successful capture and proposal efforts and is a regular contributor to GovCon magazines. He has also held numerous training webinars for various APMP chapters and Apex offices throughout the US. Before starting, there are a few housekeeping notes I would like to mention. First, this webinar is being recorded and the link to the recording will be sent to you within 24 hours. Second, we will hold a Q&A session at the end. You can send your questions during the webinar by the chat system to the right of your window and Ab will address them at the end. Third, you can download this presentation by clicking on the link under File on the right-hand side panel on your window. We highly recommend you download the slide deck so that you can always refer back to it. So let's see what this webinar covers. We will first give a quick intro to GDI Consulting Services. Then before going into OASIS Plus Phase 2, we will review Phase 1 and then build on that and explain the general information about Phase 2. Then we will have a thorough discussion of the scope of the Marketing and PR Services domain. Before Ab explains the OASIS Plus scoring system, for those of you who are not familiar with self-scoring evaluation systems, he will quickly explain what this new system is. Then we will deep dive into the scoring system, covering all the aspects involved. Compliance is one of the most important aspects in these types of proposals and Ab will cover it providing guidance and experience. Ab will also touch on teaming which is very important in OASIS Plus. Lastly, we will provide some strategy recommendations and experience sharing and then finish with the Q&A session. So with that, I will now hand over the control to Ab to start the webinar. Ab.
Thank you, Cal, and hello everyone. Thank you for participating in our webinar. We have a lot to cover, so I might be going a little bit too fast. That's why we recommend that you download the slide deck so you can always refer back to it. And of course, you can type in your questions on the chat system and I will answer them at the end. So let's very quickly go over GDIC services and then we can go into the main subject of the webinar. So we've had GDI Consulting has had over 15 years of solid performance with a 98% win rate on OASIS Plus Phase 1. We had 98 clients and 97 of them were awarded. So a 98% win rate. We've had an overall 81% win rate for all agencies, 82% for DoD. And we've had 289 wins in 2024 with $19.6 billion worth of contracts that we got for our clients. I won't go into the details of the rest of these numbers, so you can always refer back to these when you download the presentation. Now, as far as our services are concerned, we have four major areas: proposal development, capture management, support services, and training. In proposal development, we provide eligibility and score assessment before you go into an opportunity, whether you should do it or not, go, no go. Full task order, standalone proposal support, so we can provide any types of proposal, including IDIQ, BPA, and GWAC, government-wide acquisition contracts, meaning multiple agencies can actually put orders on it, under it. All of these we provide proposal support for. For those companies who have their own proposal shop, we provide review services. And then we can also provide them with staff augmentation. So if you're short of any positions like a proposal manager, a technical writer, graphic artist, or whatever, we can provide those positions. In terms of capture management, we have both dedicated long-term or strategic capture, as we call it, or short-term sourcing and qualification capture we do. And then we have special programs for vehicles such as OASIS Plus, GSA Mass, Seaport, and others that we provide task order management, including sourcing and qualification. Finally, our AI enabled capture management platform is called Capture Edge, which is very useful, and a lot of our clients are using it to actually find opportunities, find their competitors, find pricing, and plan and manage their pipelines. Support services, we provide accounting preparations for DCAA or DCMA audits. For those companies who are going after the audit, we help them prepare their accounting system. We provide CMMC certification support for DoD contractors in 2025 going into 2026. It is a must, it's mandatory, so a lot of companies are looking for getting those certifications, and we are helping them on that. Competitive intel, black hat exercise, and then price to win are three other services we provide here. And finally, training, both proposal development, capture management, on a customized basis we provide for companies. Okay, and specific to OASIS Plus Phase 2, we provide free consultation, and by all means use this opportunity, jump on a call with us and we can answer any questions that you have. Pre-qualification assessment, whether you have the minimum requirements or not, full proposal development with a dedicated proposal team. Actually, there are two teams. One prepares the proposal, the second team comes in and reviews it for compliance. And it's an A to Z type of support we provide here on this type of full proposal development. Everything is on us except you provide the documents. That's all. I mean, contract documents and things like that. The other service we provide is reviewing and auditing. For those of you who have your in-house teams, we provide 2 rounds of compliance checks, score optimization checks, and uploading to Symphony, which is GSA's portal for submission. And then we have a service providing tools and support. We provide 7 different tools. Again, for those companies who are doing it themselves, we provide the tools that they need for proposal preparation and compliance checks. And then 2 hours of included consultation or optional additional consultation hours. So these are the services we provide for OASIS Plus Phase 2. Now let's look at Phase 1 first before we go into Phase 2, so we have an understanding of what it is if you're not already familiar with it. So this is by a GSA, but it's a GVAC. It's a multiple award IDIQ GVAC, meaning that all agencies can actually put orders on under GSA, under OASIS Plus. It has an open ceiling, so there's no budget limitation, and there's no minimum or there's no maximum number of awards. It's an unlimited, as long as you have the minimum qualifications and score, which I will go into later in the webinar, you're awarded. Contract duration is 5 years plus 1 additional 5-year option. We are the first rounds, or Phase 1, you can say, is already awarded, but there is an on-ramp coming up, hopefully before September 2025, and those companies who were not on it can actually jump on. And I'm talking about Phase 1, so this is an on-ramp for Phase 1. I'll explain the difference between Phase 1 and Phase 2 later. Now, under Phase 1 and Phase 2, actually, there are 6 different tracks, or you could say contracts. Each company can actually receive 6 different types of contracts. Total small business, 8A, hub zone, STV, OSP, women-owned small business, unrestricted. So these are the different contracts that will be awarded. Obviously, a company might be under many of these. And small businesses can actually go under unrestricted. So a company might actually cover all 6 of these. Now, that's the tracks. Now, in terms of domains or the areas that they cover, there are 8 different domains: technical engineering, management and advisory, research and development, intelligence services, enterprise solutions, facility services, logistics services, and environmental services. Now, the first 3 were in OASIS, and the last 5 were added in OASIS Plus. So OASIS Plus added 5 new domains when it was bidded in 2023, but only the first 3 were in the original OASIS. So these are the domains under, we're talking Phase 1, remember. And this is how it's already been awarded. So 588 unrestricted, 1,375 total small business, 345 STV OSP, 309 WOSP, 181 8A, 131 hub zone. Now, note that these numbers might be a little bit higher as we go along, because GSA is reviewing on a gradual basis all the remaining proposal submissions. There might be a few, so these numbers might change a little bit as we go along. And that total small business is different from the STVOSB Women-Owned Small Business 8A and HubZone. A company might go for example, STVOSB and total small business. So you get one under 345 and another one under 1375. Now, some companies are just total small business, so they go for that. Okay, so these are the different the contract awards under. Now I explained on-ramping. So we've heard that before September 2025, the on-ramping season opens, meaning that those companies who were not aware of or for some reason could not participate in OASIS Plus, we're talking phase 1 again, remember, can actually participate again on the on-ramped season for the 8 domains we discussed. Now, those companies who participated previously but were not awarded for any reason, made mistakes or anything like that, they can participate again. And then some companies might want to enhance their domains, meaning that perhaps they were in 2 domains, but they want to expand to other domains as well. Again, they can do that. So this is a good opportunity for companies who have not been on OASIS Plus, those 8 domains, to actually go for it. And just remember that you should go for it now. Don't wait until September, because there's a lot of work to prepare your submission. We've done 98 of those, so we know. Okay. Now, having said that, let's go into phase 2 then. Now, in phase 2, I want just to answer questions whether there are any changes from phase 1 to phase 2. Essentially, there are no changes. So the 10-year IDIQ with 5-year base, 5-year option period remains. Task orders are still fixed price, T&M, and cost reimbursable type as in phase 1. Phase 2 uses same contract vehicle structure as phase 1. No budget ceiling, separate awards per socioeconomic categories and business size, as we mentioned. Award pools include unrestricted, small business, 8A, STVOSB, HubZone, and WOSB, women-owned small business. Contract allows for integrated multi-domain task order awards. In other words, you can participate in multiple domains. Agencies can use OASIS Plus for nearly any service needed, meaning that once, and I will go into the domains again, we had 8 domains there, 5 new domains are added here. Essentially, OASIS Plus is going to cover every service type available except for construction work and except for pure IT, because technical and engineering domain is very similar to IT, but pure IT, pure programming type work, that goes under IT. So that's why they call OASIS Plus non-IT. But as I said, so except for IT and except for construction, it nearly covers every type of work services. Now, same OASIS Plus terms and contract language applies to phase 2, meaning that all the requirements that were required for the 8 domains in phase 1, they still stand. We'll have to see that they probably will tweak them a little bit here and there for the new domains, but essentially the same requirements and same system. Now, key dates. So the RFI for phase 2 was released on June 17th this year, 2025. Feedbacks are due or were due by July 8th, 2025. Final solicitation is expected in late fiscal year 25, meaning that before September 30th of this year. And it seems that they are on it because there was a lag or a delay about 2-3 months. They were supposed to, for example, issue the on-ramp 2-3 months ago, but they're now on it again. So they're putting out new information, they're putting out RFIs and things like that. So it seems that we will probably see the issuance of the solicitation before end of September. Evaluation process may extend into early or mid 2026 per our experience in phase 1. Rolling awards, they've said that it's going to be a rolling awards, means that decisions may be made in stages as they did in phase 1. So they first provided the awards for total small business, then HubZone, and so on. And the last were unrestricted and 8A. And a lot of it also depends on the protest. Awardees join OASIS Plus vehicle for a 10-year ordinary period. So since it's already started, you join it. So if 2 or 3 years have passed, you only will have 7 or 8 years remaining. And then contractors should prepare early to avoid documentation issues, as I mentioned. So there are a lot of forms that you have to sign, and not sign yourself, your contracting officers of the contracts that you submit. So a lot of signatures by contracting officers or primes if you're providing subcontracts and things like that. So don't wait until it's out. Start your proposal preparation now. Okay, going into the transition issue. So a lot of legacy contracts are out there in different agencies, but a lot of them are going to be coming under OASIS Plus. The most significant ones are OASIS itself, which is already being transferred to OASIS Plus, HCATS, and BMO. So agencies are being encouraged by the government to move to OASIS Plus for new awards. Legacy contracts will expire in the coming years. So all the different agencies under the federal government, they used to put out legacy contracts for these similar types of services. They're going to all be compiled under OASIS Plus. That's why OASIS Plus is so important. So they must, contractors on legacy vehicles must requalify under OASIS Plus. So it doesn't mean that if you were on HCAS, for example, and it ends, you are automatically transferred to OASIS Plus. No, you have to actually, submit a proposal under OASIS Plus. If you get awarded, then you can continue on. So human capital domain replaces scope from HCATS. That's one of the domains under phase 2. Admin services from BMO migrates into business administration domain. That's again another domain under phase 2. So legacy holders should prepare for competition in phase 2, meaning that they should actually get on it first and then compete with other companies under OASIS Plus. And don't assume all the awards will roll forward, as I mentioned. You really need to submit a proposal under OASIS Plus. Okay, so the main part of phase 2, or the main thing that it brings, are the 5 new domains. And I wanted to list these here. So there are 5 new domains under phase 2: business administration services, human capital services, financial services, marketing and digital outreach services, and social services. So these 5, together with the other 8 in phase 1, they cover almost all the different types of services that the government needs, except for construction and IT. And in fact, as far as IT is concerned, the domains technical and engineering, research and development, intelligence, cover a lot of IT, and we had a lot of clients who actually were IT companies and were participating in those domains. But overall, you can see that those 8 plus these 5, they cover almost all the needs of the government in terms of services. That's why OASIS Plus is so important. Now that by the Trump administration's new policies, GSA is going to be used more and more in terms of acquisition. So you can see that the importance that OASIS Plus is receiving, and we're going to see a lot of task orders under OASIS Plus phase 1 and phase 2 domains. So each domain has its unique NAICS codes and qualification requirements. I've said TBD, but because they have not issued how the scoring works under each of these 5, but based on the scoring system that is for the other 8 in phase 1, and since the contract is going to be the same, we are going to see the same requirements. Essentially, maybe the points here and there are a little bit different, but essentially the same system, and we'll see that in a minute when I go over the scoring system. And you as a contractor can actually submit for one or more domains. So you might go for all of these 5 domains or just one of them. Each of them requires a separate submission, a separate proposal, but you are allowed to submit under all of them or just one. Okay, so let's now discuss the marketing and digital outreach services domain, or marketing and PR services domain, and see what it entails and what is the content of this domain. What should you expect from it? So this is the scope of the domain, meaning that the government will put out task orders under OASIS Plus phase 2 marketing and PR domain covering any of these items. So advertising campaign strategy and management, brand management initiatives, exhibit design, production and installation, interactive digital marketing solutions, online media management and analytics, photography and commercial art services, social media strategy and campaign management, website design, development and maintenance, media relations and outreach, speech writing and presentation support, written content development and editorial services, visual design and production services, video and audio production services, content accessibility services, that is marketing and PR, event, conference and exhibit planning and management, exhibit design, production and installation, multimedia production, packaging and distribution support, direct marketing services, marketing strategy consulting services, public relations strategy and services, and finally, survey development and distribution services. So these are all the different types of work that you would expect task orders for under the marketing and PR domain. So if you're doing any of these, this domain is the one fit for you. Okay, now this slide shows you a number of NAICS code. Why have I put it in this webinar? You will see later on that, as you know, OASIS Plus is a self-scoring type evaluation system, meaning that you have to get a certain number of points score to be able to be, to be eligible for award. Now, the basis of the score depends on 5 contracts that you bring to the table. So you have to have 5 contracts, and those contracts can be federal, they can be subcontracts to a federal prime, or they can be commercial contracts, and state and local are considered commercial. Now, if you have a federal contract, you have to prove that the 5 contracts you're bringing to the table are relevant to marketing and PR. So if you have a federal contract and the contract has any of the NAICS codes that you're seeing here, then you don't need any other proof. You just show that your contract has this NAICS code and you're good to go. You do not need to provide any other documents to prove relevance. And usually for NAICS code, you either have the NAICS code on your contract award in case of federal contracts, or you have it on your FPDS printout. So it's easy, no problem. Now, if you have a subcontract, or you're using a commercial contract, then you cannot use the NAICS as proof because that's not your NAICS. So what you have to do is there's a form that comes with the RFP called JP3. You fill that up, send it to the contracting officer of that contract, if it's a federal contract that doesn't have your NAICS code, or to your prime if you're subcontract, if you're using a subcontract, or to your commercial client. They have to sign it and send it back. So there is a process here involved, and you have to chase the contracting officer or the prime or the commercial client to finally get it back. That's the good thing about contracts having these NAICS codes. If they have it, you don't have to chase people around. So that's why I've listed them here. If you have contracts with these NAICS codes, you're good to go. And note that some of these NAICS codes do not necessarily correspond to marketing and PR, like the 4th one, 541611, administrative management and general management consulting services. So that helps a lot. You might have, that. You don't have to prove relevance, even though, the contract might be not very relevant to marketing and PR. But if it has the 541611 NAICS code, you're good to go. You don't have to prove by any other means the relevance. So NAICS is really important if you can provide that. Okay, let's also discuss who should actually participate under the marketing and PR domain. I'm giving you some examples, but obviously there are a lot more types of companies. But marketing and PR agencies, obviously with federal campaign experience, digital content firms producing video, podcasts, and or webinars, consultants specializing in stakeholder outreach or brand strategy. The government is sensitive on that, yes. Design firms supporting mission communications and infographics, firms offering social media analysis and reporting services, emergency response and behavior change messaging experts, creative AA teams with public sector exposure, JVs, joint ventures that combine PR with strategic planning and analytics, legacy schedule contractors from GSA Schedule 541 or 738 pools. So those who are on the GSA schedule or MAS 541 or 73 pools, they can actually move and under OASIS Plus, because the future of GSA requests will be under OASIS Plus Phase 2. And then finally, event management or campaign orchestration vendors with results. So these are the different types of companies who might be interested to go after the marketing and PR domain. Okay, so I'm going to describe and explain the scoring system under OASIS Plus, but for those of you who are not familiar with self-scoring evaluation that GSA is using, I want to very, very quickly, in just one slide actually, go over what this is, because OASIS Plus is a self-scoring type proposal. So essentially, there are the traditional type proposals and there are the self-scoring proposals, or traditional evaluation systems by the government and self-scoring evaluation. In the traditional type work, you prepared your proposal writing towards different things, like you had usually a technical volume, you have a management volume perhaps, you have a past performance volume, and everything is you write about it. So you write about your past performance, past experience, you write about your technical capabilities and your management capabilities. But in self-scoring proposals, it doesn't work like that. So the way it works is very simplified. In a simplified way is like this. You score yourself based on a set score table that the government provides. You score yourself, and then you provide documentation to prove that you scored yourself correctly. And that's it. So there is no writing involved. You score yourself and then provide just official documentation to prove that you actually scored yourself properly. So the process worked like this. The RFP stage, as far as the government is concerned, they issue an RFP that spells out how they will score the contractor's experience and past performance and other capabilities. So they say, hey, if you have, for example, a contract that is over $10 million, you get 2 points. If you have, for example, top secret facility clearance, you get 5 points, things like that. So they actually spell out the scoring system, what score you get for what type of capability. And then in the second part of their RFP, they explain or spell out how you're supposed to prove your claim, because I might claim that I have top secret, but what's the proof? So you have to provide some sort of a proof. Or I might claim the score for a $10 million contract, but how do I prove it? So you actually provide documentation alongside that scoring that proves that you deserve that point. And these documentations are usually the award document, a printout of the FPDS, printout of that contract, the CPARs for that contract, and things like that. Everything official, nothing writing. So you can't write something and say, hey, I testify that I had a claim for $10 million. You have to actually submit the contract award document or something like that. So that's what the government does in the RFP. How they're going to score you, how you're supposed to provide proof for it. Then what you do as a contractor, once you receive the RFP, you assess yourself and see if you have the minimum qualifications, because they list out the minimum qualifications. You do a gap analysis on your experience and your past performance and your company's capabilities and find out whether you should go for it or not. And sometimes you might need a partner, a teaming partner, to actually bring in and increase your score using that. And then once you decide to go for it, you start preparing your proposal. And preparing your proposal means you assess yourself, find out your score, best score, and then you start providing those documents that I said. It's called substantiation. You substantiate your score. So you provide proof documents to show that you deserve those points. And that's essentially your proposal, putting together all the documents in the proper way. There's a lot of highlighting and tagging using sticky notes on PDF and things like that. But everything is done on official documentation. And then you submit usually through Symphony, which is GSA's official portal. And that takes time. We've done this a lot of times. It's not a copy-paste. It's usually 2-3 days worth of submission of your proposal. But that's the process. The important thing is that there's no writing involved. There's a lot of analytics, juggling of different things, because there are different score factors you have to consider to decide which contracts to use. A lot of document management, proper document naming, highlighting, things like that. That's what is called self-scoring evaluation. I'm not going to go into the details why the government is using it, but the thing is that it takes much less time from the government, because say forget about OASIS Plus, which there's no limits, but for example, take Alliant 3. Alliant 3, they were going to pick 76 companies. Now, usually, say 500 companies submit their proposals, and the government has to go through 500 different proposals and subjectively review them, score them, and provide maybe each proposal is 50 pages or 100 pages sometimes. It's a huge work for the government. But when it's a self-scoring type work, like it's in Alliant 3, all that the government does is they're not going to look at the 500 proposals. They're going to pick the top, in terms of the score, 76, because they're going to award 76. So they pick the top 76, review those. If they're good to go, if the documentation is proper, they're awarded. So they're not going to look at the 400 and something remaining proposals. So you can see the huge amount of work that is removed from their table. Obviously, it falls on us as contractors to actually prepare it, but that's why they're using this self-scoring system. Okay, we're done with self-scoring. Let's jump into the OASIS Plus scoring system now. Okay, so as you remember, I said that the scoring system or the self-scoring system works on scores. So for OASIS Plus, there's a maximum score of 50. It doesn't matter whether you're a small business or large, 50 is the maximum you can get. Now, if you're a small business, if you're above 36 points, if you can get 36 points or above, you're awarded. So it doesn't matter if you get 36 or if you get 49 or 50, it doesn't matter. There's no difference. As long as you're above 36, you're awarded. And then for large business, unrestricted, you have to be above 42. One of the domains, enterprise solutions, you need to be above 45, but for the rest, it's 42. Now, what I forgot to mention right from the beginning, what I'm explaining here is for the 8 domains. It's not for phase 2 domains, but remember, as I mentioned, the structure of the contract will remain the same. So this will be the same within the new 5 domains as well. Now, there might be a little bit difference in specific point scores, but everything essentially, as far as the general idea, is the same. Now, how are these scores made? There are 3 factors. We call them score factors that build up your score. Qualifying projects, those 5 contracts that I mentioned, they're called QPs. So you need 5 qualifying projects or QPs. You can provide 4, you can provide 3, but if you don't provide 5, you will not get enough points to get above 36 or above 42 for large businesses. Then you have the second score factor, which is called Federal Experience Project, or FEP, FEP. And then you have the third one is systems, clearances, and certifications about your company. These are some of the certifications, like, I'll show you in a minute what they are. But these 3 QPs, FEPs, and systems and certs build up your points to be above, say, 36 or above 42. Now, the 5 qualifying projects, QPs, the first score factor, they give a maximum of, they range differently between different domains. And remember, I'm talking about the 8 domains right now. The government has not issued what the scoring system for phase 2 are. So they give between 35 to 45 points. That's 70 to 90% of the score. If you're a small business, and 34 to 44 points, or 68 to 88% for large businesses, depending on the domain. The range is because of the domain. Meaning, what I mean here is that the QP factor is the most important. Some of our clients got all their points from QPs, and they got 0 under FEP, and they got 0 under systems and certifications. But their contracts, those 5 contracts, were so good that they got above 36, or they got above 42. So as you can see, I want to emphasize the selection of those 5 contracts is the most critical and most important thing. And it will be the same for phase 2 domains that we will be seeing. So let's start looking at the numbers. So we are now looking at the QP subfactor. QP was qualifying projects, 5 contracts. This table is for small businesses. It shows you under each of the 8 domains how many points you get. So, and remember, it's for 5 contracts. You don't multiply this by 5, you divide this by 5 to get the number per contract. So QP relevance, remember that NAICS code I mentioned, it falls here. So to be relevant, the contract must have been performed within the past 5 years or be ongoing with 6 months of performance. But also, it must have that NAICS code, or you have to get that form filled and signed by the contracting officer. Also, there is a value attached. Now, the value for most of these, and we are talking small business, is $500,000 annual value, meaning that if you have a contract for $2 million, but it's for 5 years, that's, if you divide 2 million by 5, that's $400,000. You can't use that contract. But if you have a contract that is only $600,000 for 1 year, that's acceptable. That can be used. So $500K annual value, except for facility and environmental, which were $250,000. Now, this is one of the factors that we'll have to see the government, how the government